Hello, my name is Paul Winterstein. I have product management responsibilities for Noetics Views for Oracle eBusiness Suite and Noetics Views Workbench at Magnitude Software. In this short presentation, we'll take a look at version 2.1, the latest release of Noetics Views Workbench. Workbench 2.1 is a maintenance release whose primary purpose is to fix some issues from previous releases. Key among the improvements is the performance of the application in large environments. Operations on packages that contain dozens or even hundreds of views and legacy customization scripts, including package stage, promote, and import, that used to take tens of minutes or even hours to complete, now run significantly faster. In many cases, now in only seconds or just a few minutes. These results come from our beta customers, one of which is using Workbench to manage nearly 400 customized views. You'll also find faster page-to-page navigation, giving the application a responsiveness more in line with the speed with which you work. The release includes fixes to 24 bugs as well as a few minor enhancements. As always, refer to the release notes for complete information about all that's new in this release, as well as the list of outstanding issues still to be fixed. The most significant improvements have been made in the Upgrade My Customizations process, which is used whenever you upgrade Noetics Views to a newer version. Later on, we'll do a demonstration of this process and talk through each of the steps. Even if you've run through this process before, you might find helpful some of the information we'll be going over. As mentioned earlier, I strongly urge you to first review the release notes before proceeding with the installation or upgrade to 2.1. The system requirements for 2.1 are also in the release notes, and you'll want to review them to be sure you're using compatible versions of third-party software, including Microsoft Windows and the Oracle database and client software. Whenever installing new software, it's always advisable to first take a backup of the old installation and its repositories. It's unlikely that you'll have any issues, but the old database administrator in me just can't let this go by, even with our own software. It's simply a smart practice to always back up before upgrading. Regardless of your current version of Workbench, upgrading to 2.11 is an easy two-step process. First, you'll upgrade Enterprise Manager, and second, you'll upgrade Workbench. For both applications, you'll simply launch the executables in their setup directories, and these detect your current installation and its configuration and complete their respective upgrades in a matter of minutes. Finally, let's talk about an option you may want to consider. Two of our beta customers did some house cleaning as part of their uptake of Workbench 2.1, and both used the export and import processes to complete this work. One wanted to relocate their Enterprise Manager and Workbench repositories onto a machine in their data center in order to be in compliance with their corporate best practices. They also took this opportunity to build the Oracle database repositories using the proper character set for XML, which Workbench uses. See the system requirements for more information about the character set requirements of the repositories. Both of the beta customers also wanted to purge a lot of unneeded view revision history, which was slowing down the performance of Workbench. So what they did first was export the customizations they were using out of their old version of Workbench. The beta customer using new repositories simply imported the export file into their new 2.11 environment and took off using essentially a brand new installation. The other beta customer dropped their development environment registered in Enterprise Manager using the delete environment utility that we provide, then upgraded to 2.1, then re-registered the environment, and finally imported the export, getting them back to where they were, but with none of the thousands of unneeded old view revisions that previously were in their repository. After performing these steps, both beta customers then had real clean installations that ran notably faster than they had been, and especially the Upgrade My Customization process. If this is something you want to consider doing, please contact Noetics Support and they'll assess your installation and guide you through the process if you decide to proceed. Now a quick word about the extended setup process. This will be new to users currently on version 1 as it was introduced in version 2 of Workbench. If you're not upgrading your version of NoEdX views in the near future, the extended setup process can be deferred as it's only needed if you're upgrading the views. Because it takes over an hour to run, if you don't have the time, you may want to defer running it until it's actually needed. What it does is load into Workbench reference schemas for all the combinations of eBusiness Suite and NoEdX View versions supported by 2.1.1. These reference schemas are used by the Upgrade My Customizations process to do the impact analysis and apply the selected changes to the views in Workbench. It's expected that eventually everyone will have to do this, so you will be running it at some point. But you do have options. By default, Extended Setup is launched at the completion of the installation of Workbench. You can run it, or deselect that option and wrap up your Workbench installation right then. If you defer to later, then at any time, and without taking Enterprise Manager down or kicking users off Workbench, you can run the Extended Setup executable found in the same setup directory where the Workbench installation executable is found. Now let's take a look at the Upgrade My Customizations process and do a demo as well. You might be wondering why you should care about this process. It's because once Workbench detects a new version of NoEdX views, or that you've migrated customizations from an older version to a new version, it won't allow you to work in that new version until the Upgrade My Customizations process has been run. What it does is merge your customizations from the old version with the changes in the new version, so you get them both. But if there are conflicts, you are given the opportunity to select which conflicting changes to retain, yours or those from NoEdX views. The best practice to follow regarding conflicts is as follows. First, always save a copy of the impact analysis report. This report will include the conflict information, and later you'll use this information to reapply your lost customizations that are still needed. Next, at the point in the process where you get to choose what to do about the conflicts, always select the Accept NoEdX Updates option. Then, after the process is complete, and you can now work in the upgraded environment, and using the impact analysis report, you will manually reapply your customizations that were overwritten by the conflicting NoEdX views changes. Before we go to the live demo, first let me lay out the upgrade scenario. In this demo, the old version of NoEdX views is 6.2 and the new version is 6.4.1. The eBusiness Suite version remains the same at 12.1.3, so this is just an upgrade of NoEdX views. Your specific NoEdX views versions may be different, but nevertheless, the process we're about to go through will be the same. The example we will look at includes both user customizations and NoEdX views changes to the view AP checks. This example, taken from one of our beta customers who was using NoEdX Views 6.2, includes the addition of two tables, Vend and vSite to the view, plus the where clause lines at positions 15 and 16 to join these tables into the view, and the addition of a new column vendor number, which comes from the Vend table. Now with the upgrade to NoEdX Views 6.4.1, it just so happens that the view AP checks has also been updated. These include the addition of the table TCNFM, where clause lines at positions 15 and 16, and the column Treasury Accomplished Date. As you can see from this graphic, all the added tables and columns are unique, but the where clause lines at positions 15 and 16 are in conflict, as highlighted here. Now by selecting the option Apply NoEdX Updates, the NoEdX Views where clause lines will be retained, and the user customizations that added lines to those same positions will be lost. So when the process is complete, both sets of new tables and columns are retained, as are the NoEdX Views where clause lines at positions 15 and 16, but the user's where clause lines at those same positions are lost. Fortunately, because we saved the impact analysis report, it's real easy to go back into the environment and add those lines back to the view. Now let's do a live run through of the scenario. So I'm in Workbench and I've selected a 641 environment that has the customizations we looked at earlier to the AP Checks view. Those have been promoted to the 641 environment from a Noetics View's 6.2 environment. So if I try to modify a view, Workbench detects that there are non-upgraded customizations in this environment and now requires me to run the upgrade my customization process before I can work in this 641 environment. So I click on this link, it takes me to the Analyze Impact screen. Note that it does know that I have I have 6.2, I have 6.4, and I have my own customizations. It knows all of this, and so the first step is to actually have it detect and report back to us what the conflicts are. So I run the Analyze Impact report. When it's done, that bar is solid. I click the Next button. It takes us to a screen where we can view the results of the impact analysis. I can have it show just the conflicts, or I can show all my changes. For our purposes, I want to see just the conflicts. I select that, click on Show Report, and on the screen comes the conflicts that it detected. Now, remember, the columns and the tables that we added, the columns that are new in 641 and the table that's new in 641, those are not a conflict. Those are going to come across. It's just with those where clause lines, as I outlined earlier, where the conflict is. And you can see those here on the screen. The only view I had was AP Checks, and this component column highlights that it's at the where clause. So it's the view AP Checks, query position 1, where clause position 15. There's a difference in product version. There's also a difference in the user include flag, and there's the difference in the actual where clause itself. And this is the difference that we really care about. Here in this column are the customizations I made in 6.2, and here are the ones from 6.4.1, and this is where clause line 16 down here. Again, the one made in 6.2 and the one that comes from Noetics View 6.4.1. Now, let's go ahead and save this because we're going to use a copy of this report to reapply these changes after we complete the upgrade process. So I have the XLS format selected. I could also save it as a CSV or as an XML, but I'm going to save it as a spreadsheet. Click Export Report. I'm going to tell it that I want to put it in this Workbench directory in my Downloads area. I save that. Now that I've saved the report, let's go ahead and open it up. I already have Excel open. Let's go ahead and look in this folder. There is the report that I just saved. Let's open that. And I want to enable editing. So I have to expand things a little bit. So that let's do that. Let's make it a little bit more readable. And as you can see, it's got the same columns in it that exist, in that page in Workbench. All the same columns. So all the same information is here. And that's important because later on we're going to take these customizations that are lost due to the conflict and copy and paste out of here. So I have my spreadsheet. Let's go back and click the Next button. It takes me to a screen where we tell it which upgrade to perform. And my choices are to apply my changes, and these would be the conflicts, or to apply the Noetics changes. So as I said earlier, the practice we're advocating is to use this default, accept the Noetics updates. So I'm ready to make these changes. I click the Start button. And what it's doing, it's moving across the 6.2 customizations, it's merging them with the 6.4 customizations, including the where clause lines from 6.4, and it's setting up that view, the AP Checks view in my 6.4.1 environment with those changes. When it's complete, you click the Done button, and now I can go into this environment. I'm back into my 6.4.1 environment. Now I can modify a view, and since the upgrade is complete, Workbench allows me to do that. So I'm on the Modify View page. Here's my view AP Checks. If I click Modify, let's look real quick. Let's look at the columns. I mentioned that the one added by 6.4.1 is called Treasury Accomplished Date. And I've selected that. And if I look, you can see it. There it is. It's right from this table TCNFM. Okay, that column is in there. And the one that we added in 6.2 was called Vendor Number. Let's select Vendor Number. And we can see it's still in there. and the vendor number comes from the VEN table. So just a quick demonstration that both the non-conflicting customizations are there, as well as the tables. But what we want to work in are the where clauses. So I'll click Add, Modify, and Suppress Where Clauses, click the Next button. And now here are all the where clauses, including the two at the bottom here that happen to be positions 15 and 16 that come from 641. So those are there, and what we want to do is add the dropped ones. So I said add where clause line. It brings up this window. And now what I'm going to do is Alt-Tab over to the spreadsheet. Here's the first one that I want to re-add. I'm copying it. I'm going back to Workbench, pasting it in here. Click the Save button. Now I like really intelligent customization comments, so I'm going to start building this comment at the same time. What I'm doing is I've added the where clause lines. I'm going to paste in there the one I just added. And I'm going to prepare for the next one. So let me add where clause line again. See, it creates the window to add it. I'm Alt-Tabbing back to my spreadsheet. I'm picking up my second where clause line. Copied that. Back to Workbench. I paste the line in here. I click Save. So I've added them both. Let me finish my comment. So now I have a real descriptive comment. I added the where clause lines and I got the full text. That'll be in the comment. And of course we can see them both here. Here are the two lines that I've added. And of course I need these to be correct because my customizations also bring in the table, and these where clause lines need to be in there to make sure the join is correct and so that the column vendor number can be displayed. So I've completed adding my conflicting customizations back to the view. I click Save. And now we're done. We've done what we need to do to complete the upgrade process. Back on the Modify View page. And now the next time we stage the AP Checks view for generation in the 641 environment, it will be the Noetics View 641 version plus all our customizations originally made in 6.2, including the conflicting where clause lines that were dropped during the Upgrade My Customization process. To recap, the key takeaway from this is to follow these best practices. First, save the impact analysis report, and if there are any conflicts, use the Accept Noetics Updates option to retain the Noetics conflicting updates, and then using the impact analysis report, manually reapply the lost conflicting customizations. Again, you'll only have to do this if there are conflicts. Most of the time there won't be any, and you'll sail right through the upgrade process without having to reapply anything. But if you do have conflicts, by following this process, you'll get everything squared away and you'll be able to proceed with working in the upgraded environment. As always, to review your situation or to get assistance with the upgrade process, contact our support organization. That wraps up this introduction to Noetics View's Workbench 2.1.1. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions. My email is on the screen. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye for now.